Hey people, what's happening? How y'all doing? So today's video, as you see in the title is called Is Nate the Greatest Drummer? So we're gonna find that out, okay? And there's a reason for this question because let me give y'all a little background, all right? So I played a concert at a place called Cabby's Rum with 5 artists. And speaking of this concert, I'm going to put the link in the description so that you guys can go and check out that concert, you know.
It was a good one.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was a good one.
Yeah. So you guys can check out that concert, all right? Um, but here's the short story. So, towards the end of the concert, and by the way, I've known Nate for a little while, and we'll get into that.
A while.
A while.
We didn't even know we knew each other.
But anyways, we'll get into that in a minute. But here's the thing, is that Nate, okay, came up to me, and he's like, bruh, can I just get on the kit and just play something? I was like, yeah. So I pulled out some sticks and I gave it to him. And, honestly, I didn't think anything of it other than just, okay, he just wants to play, just have some fun. You know, it's cool. It's all good in spirit, right? So I gave him the stick and he got behind the kit and he started to play. So, by the way, and I videotaped that moment. So, the videotape, right, is right about here. Check. Okay, so you guys seen Nate playing, right? Now that you've seen Nate playing, here's where it really becomes a game-changing moment. So, right, so he played, as you could see, he's having fun, he's doing his thing, you know, he's enjoying, you know, and towards the end, everybody is just loving Nate. Thumbs up, right? No problem. Cool. But here's the thing. That moment that he played, unbeknownst to myself, and I probably will assume to many that know Nate, that ended up being a game changer. Okay, and not only it became a game changer, but Nate also took it like 1,000 steps further because there were other people who also, you know, filmed him playing, and he took one of the, you know, the people who were filming, and he put it on his Instagram. Okay, So when he posted on his Instagram, the caption was just mind blowing in terms of what he had to say. So, as a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I want to read exactly what this said, so that people get the context of why we're doing, why we're going to talk and all this other stuff. Okay, I want people to get the context. All right.
Yeah.
All right, people. So y'all forgive me. I'm going to wear my glasses. All right. All right. So here's what he said. He said, long caption warning. This was the first time I had touched a kid in about 10 years. Anyone that knows me in school or church back in the day knows this was my passion as a kid. I remember Mom telling me stories that when she was pregnant with me, she went into church and I started kicking her belly in time to the beat of the drums. I used to be fascinated watching and drinking in drums at church and at concerts, sitting next to drummers and drinking it in. Then my mental health kicked in and I forgot my passion listening. I'm never going to be the world's greatest drummer, but it's something that gave me joy. We get so bogged down in stress, bills, and routine, we forget the things that gave us joy. I have hid to so long as I have dealt with my mental health a lot more than I realized. This, I didn't even post videos or pictures of myself hiding behind memes. All this to say, I appreciate that we are all adults and have responsibilities to take care of, but make the time and don't forget what gives you joy in life, because when it's all said and done, the fact that you paid your bills or great experience, which will matter more. Enjoy your passions, peeps. Love. And I tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, my heart, when I tell you, sank to the ground, because I was just in so much amazement that not only I was helping to open his eyes to something that was closed for so long, but giving him that moment to do something that could or actually has changed the course of his life moving forward. Okay? And so obviously, you know, once he posted it, like literally when I tell you the amount of comments, love, this, that, and and it's still going, by the way. Okay,
yeah, I'm still getting likes.
Was just us. I mean, it's almost practically viral. Okay, and speaking of this post, okay, I'm gonna put the link in the description so that you guys can see exactly this post on Instagram. Okay, and speaking of Nate, you guys go follow Nate. He's an awesome guy, and y'all give him, you know, your love, give him support. Definitely give him encouragement and all that good stuff. So, with that said, let's talk about that moment. So, Nate, my friend.
Yeah.
So, I just need to ask you something. So, could you explain to the people why, of all moments, you choose to come out and say something when probably any other time that you probably had the moment that you just never said anything? Why this moment?
I used to hide myself a lot, and that's why I put in the comments,
yes,
and in the caption, sorry, that I used to hide behind it. If you look at my Instagram, before the previous weeks,
yes,
I never used to post videos or anything of myself.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we dim our light and we focus so much on what we can't do.
Right.
We forget what we can do.
Yes, yes.
And that was the moment, and I've just started in the past month or so to embrace what I can do. What am I good at?
Yeah.
What am I great
Yeah.
at?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even in that moment, in terms of the drums, many times I would have just admired your drum kit and then just gone with it. But like, you didn't realize I was hella nervous in that moment.
I can imagine.
Yeah, in that moment when I wanted to go and play the drums, I was hella nervous. But I was like, I know I can do this. But yeah, and in those moments when you go and you just grab life by the horns, it was a moment I wanted to kind of just share with other people, and I think that's why it's resonated so much on social media. But that's literally why I did it, because I knew that that message. I'm quite good at writing and stuff like that, and I know I can touch people in a good way. So when I have a moment in life that I feel I can share with other people, I feel like it's almost like an obligation to go out there and share it.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So let's go back a little bit. Okay. So did you have any training in terms of teachers or anything with the kit, or was it more self-taught and you just kept developing and things like that?
It was a mixture of both. Okay. So obviously I've grown up in church. Both my mum, my mum, rest her soul, and then
rest her soul.
Yes. And then my dad. She was a gospel choir director.
Oh wow!
So she was, I'm sure you know about Kojic.
Yeah,
I'm sure you know about Kojic. Everyone knows about Kojic. So she grew up in Kojic, and she was like one of their top choir directors in there. Wow. So she went all over the world. She went to Holland, Japan, America, everything, teaching people how to sing. And then especially on that side of the family, like everybody there can sing. My cousin, he plays drums to amazing level. Like there's dancers, you know what I mean. They everybody on that side is musical, and so it was kind of almost guaranteed that I was going to do something musical. Even my younger brother, he's a DJ now. My little sister, she's a great singer.
Awesome.
My other little brother, he can play drums to a decent level. Like, it's always been something that's on me. And so when I was a kid, obviously, my mum was telling the stories of she would go into church, and I'm kicking her belly in time to the beat when she was pregnant with me. And then I remember, like, even after, this is what was amazing about my post. It jogged things in my memory that I forgot about.
Oh wow!
So my dad reminded me that back in the day, like I would set out pots and pans on the floor.
Typical. Typical.
And so, you know what I mean? And then eventually, as I got older and everything like that, I had a few drum lessons and everything. But I would just, but I would do that. But a lot of times I'm sitting there and watching drummers. So when we'd go to church, my mum would be like, to make sure I behaved, she'd be like, she'd talk to the ushers in the church, and she'd be like, listen, can he sit next to the drummer?
Yeah.
And she knows, if I just sit next to the drummer, I'll just be like, and she knows I'll behave the whole service. So yeah, it was a little bit of lessons, but then a lot of it was just observing and trying stuff out myself. So that's just how I got into it.
Had you done any kind of gigs or anything like that?
Nothing.
It was just strictly in church?
Yeah, strictly in church.
Okay, so can you speak to the moment that you felt like you just faded off?
It was when I left church.
Okay.
It was when I left church.
Okay. Was there issues in the church, or that was just a combination of spiritual and things that you were going through?
It was, obviously, like, I still sincerely believe in God and everything. But I was suffering fatigue at that moment. So wow. And mental fatigue is a real thing, and I don't think a lot of people acknowledge it. So I just done an event where I'd had like at least 400 to 500 young people, and I've got the biggest gospel artists in the world there. Sorry, not in the world, but in the UK.
Yes.
So like Jahaziel when he was doing church,
Okay.
Governor B,
Okay.
some really amazing artists and everything down
awesome.
there. And then I remember afterwards I was just tired, and then I heard that people were speaking about me, and I started going out and I was drinking, I was having fun and everything like that.
Wow.
And then it was just like, okay, I just can't be bothered anymore, and I left church, and like that's a separate issue. We won't talk about that too much.
That's right. That's right.
But when I left church, it's like I think mentally I associated drums with that, and because there wasn't really any opportunities to go and play drums anymore, it's just like other things just became important. I started playing football, I was going out, I was having fun, and it wasn't an intentional thing. It was just I wasn't at church anymore, so the opportunity to play drums just wasn't there, and I wasn't really looking around for opportunities to go and do it.
So let me ask you this. So in retrospect, do you think that if maybe your thinking at that time would have been, okay, even if, let's just say, for argument's sake, and assumable sake for right now, that I'm not happy at this situation in the church for whatever X and Z of reasons, that, I like playing in the church. I like the environment. This is, where it's comfortable. This is, so in other words, if I'm going to play music, this is as best as it gets for me. Did you ever once stop to think, okay, maybe I can go to a different church and be happier? Or was it a situation at that time, maybe you were thinking, it has nothing to do with church. It's just, a life decision where you're thinking, do I really need to be doing this or not?
I think it was the latter. So I'm a person, like, listen, we all get wrong, but I try to be a person of principle.
Right.
And so the key thing for me was the idea that I was like, I don't want to be that person. I like going out. I'm a very social person.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was out last night. I wanted to. I didn't want to be that person that was going out, drinking, having fun in the club, and then praising the Lord on a Sunday.
Got you.
And so I decided in that moment to be honest with a lot of the church people, and I was like, I'm going to step away. I'm not going to preach. I'm not going to be in the praise and worship team anymore. I just didn't want to be a hypocrite. You know what I mean? And that was the principle that I was trying to live by. And ironically, in that moment when I tried to do that, I think that's what helped drive me away from drums at the time. Because the reaction from a lot of church people was, imagine you've gone through that, you're struggling in that moment, and rather than the church helping me out, I had preachers ringing me up telling me, oh, if you don't change your life path, you're going to hell. Rather than trying to support me and
right. Rather than try to
where's your head at? Why are you struggling in this moment?
Yeah. How can I help you?
Yeah. They were just like, if you don't change your life path around, you're going to hell. And I'm like,
wow.
Really? That drove me further away. But, at the core of it, I was like, I don't want to be a hypocrite. And me telling the truth rather than looking around, and there was a lot of musicians and singers and everything that were doing what I was doing, but in secret, I was just being honest. And yeah, that's what messed me.
So let me that's interesting that you say that, right? I just wanna bring something up, and you can give me your feedback on what I'm about to say, okay? I've always known church, in my humble opinion, to be a door open to anyone.
Yes.
Right? So with that said, there really should be what I would like to call zero judgment. Okay? And for that matter, that should be even the more reason why nobody, regardless of if you're a heathen, let's put it this way, in terms of what the Bible or whatever you read will suggest, because of your actions, this is considered you being a heathen, right? But at the same time, the church, as far as from what I believe, should be a forgiven space, right? So the fact that it should be a forgiven space, I always find it interesting that why is it that the same people who are, and I'm going to use quotations, saved and sanctified and all these other things, right? But interestingly enough, they also too were once those people.
Yeah.
So if you were once those people,
sometimes they still are as well.
And
it's hidden in the dark.
Right. Now, and I'm glad we're talking about this, okay? And by the way, this is all relative to music because it's trust me, the message is still the same thing, right? Anyways, so what I find interesting is they were once those people, but yet they now, or at least some of them, have turned into the very people that you want to avoid. So, my thing to you is, what is your thought in terms of how do you separate yourself from the people who present themselves like that to say, okay, man, I accept them, I just let them be, to the ones that you go, you know what, I can't deal with you. Like, how do you separate those types?
I think it's acknowledging at the core of everything. Humans are going to human.
Right.
People are human.
Right.
And I can't get angry at people for going with their natural human instincts. We always want to present ourselves in the best light. We always want to be the best looking person and everything like that.
Yes.
And sometimes people do fake stuff. That's why people buy fake Rolexes. That's why, you know what I mean? That's why people have cars.
Everybody wants an image.
And mortgages that they can't afford.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I all I can do, and that's the thing, like, and just be okay with that. All I can do is be okay with that. But I've in the past year, especially, since the beginning of the pandemic as well, I'm one of the few people that's kind of benefited from COVID, where it allowed me to really take a look at myself. And all I can do is be authentically me.
Right.
I can't control what outside people do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even though if they're fake or they're whatever, listen, I've met people like you. I've met people, all the guys at Cabbies that I hang out with now.
Awesome.
They are one of the most wonderful. Like, you ever sat down, and been in a place and you've been like, I found my tribe.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's like a church.
Yeah, that's my tribe at Cabbies. Like, there's no egos, there's no selfishness, and everything, and that's all you can do. Just surround yourself with those right people, and understand that other people are human, and sometimes humans are going to let you down.
That's right.
And those people, I just try and stay away from, because if their natural inclination is to be like that, then that's what they're gonna do.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So interesting that you said that. So, how do you feel moving forward, and especially you playing drums or anything to do with music? How do you feel moving forward now that you've had this moment that your life is going to take a certain direction? Or how do you feel like, maybe there was a bigger lesson to this, and what is the lesson that's going to say, okay, this is how I need to move forward?
The lesson is go for life.
Right.
Go for life.
Right.
And when I in the caption and everything that I put down, I've hid so long. If you look at even on my Instagram,
right.
Yeah, I think this year, previously before the past 2-3 weeks, the only picture was on my birthday.
Oh wow!
That I actually had physically of myself.
Oh wow!
I never used to put myself out there. And the thing is, we get so worried about how other people will look at us, what they will think of us, and everything like that. Like, I've just stopped hiding.
So, do you feel as though, because of what you just said, right, that your purpose, I guess, moving forward now is to stop hiding? That I guess you want to, show more of yourself.
Yeah, man.
Right? But at the same time, is your purpose for showing more of yourself to tell a story, or is this to just capture the moments and say, okay, check out what I did, just so that you can see my life, and that whatever you get out of it, whether it be motivation, inspiration, or just it was just a good day, or even a bad day sometimes, right? But the point is, you're going to get something out of it, right? Is that more or less where you're coming from, or is there a different angle to it?
Ooh, the thing is, I think I don't know how to put it. That's a good question, actually. Yeah, that's a really good question. But you know what? For me, I think sometimes we need. I think it's the story part.
Yeah.
I think it's the former. Where I'm just trying to show people my path.
Right.
So
right.
A brief breakdown of where I was. So February last year, 2020.
Yeah.
I'd hit rock bottom. Mentally.
Wow.
I'd spent all my money.
Oh, wow.
I was suffering really badly from depression and social anxiety and suicidal thoughts as well.
Oh my God! Wow.
So I imagine going to. I work on the underground, yeah.
Okay.
In my normal day-to-day job,
okay.
And now imagine you're hearing voices in your head telling you jump in front of a train.
Oh jeez.
Daily. So I'm having to grip chairs and stuff like that. And eventually it got to a stage where I had to speak to my dad, and then he put me in touch with a counsellor.
Right.
And then because my mum had passed, I hadn't dealt with that. And then I started dealing with that mental side of it. And then after I dealt with the bereavement counselling, I met another counsellor,
right.
Laverne, lovely lady. And me and her have been working since August last year.
Okay.
For the past year, over a year now. Just trying to work on myself. And in each stage, I've kind of told the story. So I put up in about May, June time, what I was going through.
Right.
And I told people I've been suffering mental health. And the amount of people that helped, where it was like people messaging me afterwards, maybe 6 months later, where they were like, listen, I saw your status and you seem like such a happy-go-lucky person.
Right,
and everything like that.
Right.
And they were like, oh, but because you put up the fact that you've gone to go see a therapist, it enabled me to go and get help. You know what I mean? And so over the year, I've just kind of slowly been trying to show people, look, this is the progress I've made, to the point where I feel comfortable now posting pictures and videos of myself.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't realise how big a moment even just sitting down and playing the drums in that moment was for me mentally.
Right.
Where normally I'd been so depressed and suffering so much, I probably wouldn't even have tried to play drums because I would have been thinking about what I can't do.
Wow.
Rather than, yo, you can hit a nice groove on there, man. Go do the nice groove. But the old me would have been like, oh, but this guy here, he's more technical, he's more skillful,
right,
blah, 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 blah. And, you know what I mean? There's one quote that I try and live by now. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Wow.
If I look around at what everybody else can do and what I can't do, how am I going to think about what I can do?
Wow. Well, let me show you this one quote that, and I have to give credit, by the way, speaking of the quote, because the credit for this quote goes to a pastor in Brooklyn. And it's a church that I used to go to many years ago called Christian Center Life. Okay, and the name of the pastor is A.R. Bernard. Y'all can go Google him and look him up. He's a great pastor. But anyways, but the one thing he always used to say, this one quote, and it has stuck with me, is attitude determines approach, which is the key to success or failure. And that has stuck with me ever since. And clearly, as you can see with Nate, he's definitely a testament to that quote, that whatever the choice you make will determine if you're successful or if you're if you're going to fail. But having said that, even the times that you do fail, there's still something you can take away from that. And one thing I've learned in life, right, is sometimes, and I'm going to be transparent in what I have to say, sometimes you got to go through some shit to get out of the shit, so that, you know, you can say, okay, now I get it. Right? So, but anyways, so, but here's what I wanted to ask you, okay? So, what is the one thing about mental health that you would like to tell people that people probably misunderstand about? What do you think people must misunderstand about mental health?
Failure is necessary.
Okay.
Failure is necessary for growth. And I think a lot of times, especially when you're going through mental health,
right,
you become so scared of failure, it holds you back from living. It holds you back, and we have to understand, like, the first time you tried to ride a bike, guaranteed you did not pop a wheelie straight away. Right. You know what I mean? The first time you tried to swim, right, I guaranteed you needed armbands, and I bet you sunk a little bit. And that's the one thing that I would tell anybody dealing with mental health, because that's the thing. Fear. Fear is awful, man. I have been there where, like, even just trying to talk to people and stuff like that. Like, or I remember one time I was sitting there with one of my boys, and when I was going through the worst of my mental health, and he was like, look, just go chat to these girls just really quickly. And I physically couldn't, even because fear used to hold me back. But once you realise that failure is a lesson, not a loss, I think that's the one thing. And I think other people need to, who maybe aren't suffering as badly with mental health, need to give people the grace to understand that I am not them and they are not me.
Right.
And so when they're going through those mental health battles, try and support them. Try and support people. People need just love sometimes. And the thing that helped drag me out in my worst moments was love. And the idea of who I would be hurting if I did something silly to myself. And in that moment, like, I remember the moment that saved me. I remember I'd come back from football, I'd had a couple of beers, I was feeling really low, and my money was all gone and everything like that. And I came into the kitchen, and it was a moment that saved my life, where my little sister was like, "Are you okay?" And I was able to open myself up, and I was like, "No." Keep asking people if they're okay. They might have a front up, but keep asking people if they're okay, and genuinely ask it. You know what I mean? Check on people. I think sometimes, again, it's quite similar. Again, throwing it back to our drums conversation, how I lost my passion and everything.
Yes.
Where I was like, I'd lost it so randomly and so easily, and I'd forgotten about it so quickly. And then all of a sudden, boom, 10 years have gone. Just like that, you know what I mean? And because it just wasn't sustainable or whatever. And it's quite, mental health is quite the same, where I just hadn't checked up on it in such a long time, and it just drifted away from me. And I've, you know what I mean? That's what people need to do. to a lot of their friends, their family, and everything like that, because we have the front up and we go through the routine of life, and we pay bills, and we look after our kids if you've got them, and we look after mortgages and blah 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 blah, blah. And we just kind of on that little roulette wheel of life, and then boom, you know what I mean, like, and then somebody just jumps in front of a train, which I see sometimes at work, working on the underground. People, you know what I mean, like young, especially young people, young men. Like, that's one thing I'll say. Like, listen, not to like forget our sisters, I understand, but young men especially from the ages of about 19 to 35, they are like the highest rates of suicide. Right. Because they don't talk. And in that moment when my little sister was like, "Are you okay?" It would have been very, very easy for me to be like, "Yeah, I'm cool." Like, open up, man. Guys, open up and talk. And it's the same thing that happened in that moment with the drums, where like I was like, you know what? It'd be very easy for me to just go get another drink and go sit outside and you know what I mean? Right. But, I'ma seize the opportunity. I want to go play the drums. Yeah. And look at the life-changing moment that happened for me.
Let me just tell you something. Nate, all I can tell you from this moment on is whatever you choose to do in life, whether you want to play drums for fun, whether you decide, maybe I want to try this professionally, whatever. My thing to you is just play. I don't care if you got 2 sticks in your hand, there's a drum pad, or there's a drum, just play. Because for me, I see it this way. I'd rather you play and it saves your life, even if it's 10 minutes, versus you still had the thoughts in your head, and then another 10 years goes by.
Yeah.
Okay? So I just wanted to share that with you, bro, because, you're my bro, man. You know what I mean? You're my bro.
Hey, listen, it's been a pleasure.
But, so I got to ask you this one question before we close out, okay? Yeah. All right, so tell me, what do you consider the greatest drummer?
My favorite drummer?
What do you consider the greatest drummer? What do you consider the greatest drummer?
Tony Rester Jr.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why Tony?
I don't know. There's just something, I'm watching his journey, especially like he started when he was like 6, 7.
Yeah.
I remember that legendary drum solo that he did when he was like
10.
10 or something like that. 10. And then to watch him, and then now he plays for Jay-Z and stuff like that. But I watch quite similar in terms of our journeys. Like, listen, I'm not Tony Roaster Jr., but in terms of our journeys, like that love of drums as a kid, that is the greatest drummer. When it's a joy, it's a passion. You are living your life's purpose. And I look at him, Spanky as well. Spanky as well.
George McCurdy.
Yeah. He, like, you know what I mean? Guys like that, where they've just done it from a kid and they built themselves up.
Yes.
And it doesn't look like it's a chore to them. It's just life. And they're living. That is the greatest drummer for me.
Awesome, man. Well, Nate, I just would like to say thank you for coming down and sharing your story.
Thank you, man.
And also, Nate, we out here in these streets and everywhere would just like to send you the best of all things in your life. Give you the blessings, give you the guidance, give you the peace, give you the love. And more so, may music stay in your heart, and in your mind, and in your soul. And with that said, Nate, my brother.
Thank you, man.
This is not the first, and this won't be the last.
This won't be the last, man. 100%.
So, you keep telling your story. And once again, I'm going to put the link so that you guys can go check out Nate. And it's going to be his Instagram, okay? I'm going to put the link so you can go see it. And but I just wanted to also close out by saying that if you guys have a passion regardless of what that passion is, you know, it's okay to just try. You know, you don't have to keep in your mind that I need to be at the tops in order to show that. Because remember, everybody started somewhere. So just like with Nate and just like with myself, we all started with the pots and the pans. And, you know, as you get older, you know, you pick up a stick and you start playing this and you start playing that. And we've had rejections and we've had people to guide us. And, you know, but the point is the more you stay with it and the more you try to improve each time, the better it gets. You see what I mean? And again, it's not about trying to be the most professional, you know, because you can be great at what you do, you know, and you don't have to be playing with this and that and the third of the name. You're just great at what you do because you make it the greatest thing. And that's the simple answer to that. So on that note, I just want to say to everybody that please keep playing and keep on with whatever it is that you're doing, because we need you in this world. And not only we need you in this world, but we need plenty of you in this world, because that's what makes this world go around. All right? Booyah! Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the notification bell right about there so that you will be notified every time a new video is uploaded. And as well as give this a like, give this a like, give this a like, give this a like. Please share this video with your family and your friends. And as well as leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this video, okay? And as always, one love.